man died on stage, not by accident, not by chance. He died because he dared to speak. His name was Charlie Kirk. To millions, he was a defender of faith, family, and moral order. To others, he was a figure to be despised, ridiculed, and opposed. But today, beyond the politics, beyond the divisions, we must ask, what does his death mean for all of us? When words are answered with bullets, society has already crossed a line. When speech carries the cost of blood, it is no longer free. This is not new. History is filled with such moments. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who resisted the shadow of Nazi power, said, "Silence in the face of evil is itself evil." Again and again, men who spoke inconvenient truths became targets of hatred. Some were ridiculed. Some were silenced. Some were killed. But the pattern is clear. The question is not whether Charlie Kirk was flawless. No man is. The question is this: will we live in a society where disagreement is resolved by violence, or in a society where debate is carried by reason, conscience, and faith? History teaches us. Cicero was cut down for defending the Republic. Martin Luther King Jr. was struck down for dreaming of equality. But their voices echo still, long after their assassins are forgotten. So it will be here. Charlie Kirk is gone. But the fact that he died speaking tells us something urgent. This age does not only struggle with ideas, it struggles with tolerance itself. Yet here lies the danger. If we answer hatred with more hatred, if we answer violence with more violence, then we feed the very fire that consumes us. The French writer François-René de Chateaubriand once said, "You are not superior just because you see the world in an odious light." In other words, cynicism is not wisdom. Despair is not strength. The book of Proverbs says, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." We must not abandon truth, but neither must we abandon love. So, was Charlie Kirk a martyr? Yes, in the sense that his death marks him as a witness to the reality that truth is costly and conviction demands sacrifice. But he was also a victim of a society tearing itself apart, a society that has lost the ability to argue without destroying, to disagree without dehumanizing. That is the true crisis of our time. And this is where I stand. I will not glorify violence. I will not glorify division. But I will not remain silent. The Risehold exists not to sharpen the blade of hatred, but to lift the torch of truth, to call men and women back to courage, back to faith, back to a moral order that does not need enemies in order to stand. The Roman Empire silenced its critics with blood, yet it fell. The Soviet Union crushed dissent with fear, yet it collapsed. Every age that chooses lies over truth, force over reason, division over unity, eventually destroys itself. But those who cling to truth, those who walk in faith, those who stand even when the world kneels, they endure. I will leave you with this. Our enemy is not flesh and blood. It is not left or right, not neighbor or stranger. Our enemy is the lie. And the only weapon against it is truth spoken with courage. So let us not answer death with death, but answer death with life. Not silence with fear, but silence with voices lifted in unity. I am Veritus, and this is the Risehold.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.